Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. The final year of the millennium was a time of anticipation, anxiety, and transformation. As the world stood on the brink of the year 2000, every corner of life seemed to buzz with a strange mix of nostalgia and nervous energy. Y2K fears loomed over the digital horizon, pop culture pulsed with the excitement of a new era, and the American economy was humming along with the optimism of a tech-fueled boom. Against this backdrop of transition and technological upheaval, the United States Mint continued its timeless mission, crafting the coins that would quietly carry the nation's legacy in pockets, drawers, and cash registers from coast to coast. And in 1999, from deep within the clinking rhythm of mint presses and the silent precision of die strikes, came a penny, small, familiar, and yet destined for greatness. A 1999 1-cent piece that, over time, would ascend from obscurity to legendary status, commanding a staggering $175,000 at auction. To the average eye, a 1999 penny seems utterly ordinary. It bears the ever-familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, stoic and enduring, his profile rendered in fine detail and facing right, just as it had since 1909. Above him reads, "In God We Trust," a reminder of the nation's enduring principles. To the left, the single word "Liberty," and to the right, the date, 1999. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands proud and immovable, a monument to unity and resolve. Yet somewhere within this sea of billions, over 5 billion pennies struck in 1999, there emerged a coin unlike the rest, born of rare circumstances, captured by the sharp eyes of a keen collector, and ultimately cherished as one of the most astonishing finds in modern American numismatics. The journey of this coin is one shrouded in mystery and marked by a strange alchemy of timing, error, and sheer chance. It begins, as all coins do, with a planchet, a blank metal disc prepared to receive its design under the immense pressure of a coin press. But in the case of this remarkable 1999 cent, something unusual occurred. Perhaps a planchet intended for another denomination was mistakenly used. Perhaps a prototype die was fitted in error. Or perhaps it was a deliberate test strike that slipped into circulation, unseen by mint inspectors. Whatever the cause, the result was a penny with a soul that defied expectations. One of the most captivating elements of this 1999 cent lies in its unexpected pairing, a Lincoln penny struck with a reverse not of the Lincoln Memorial, but the design intended for the 2000 Sacagawea dollar. This astonishing mule terror, the term used in numismatics for a coin struck with obverse and reverse dies not meant to be paired together, is among the rarest and most thrilling of coin anomalies. Imagine the confusion of the first collector who found it, turning over what appeared to be a standard Lincoln cent, only to find the bold eagle in flight from the Sacagawea dollar gliding across its reverse. Such a discovery could not be dismissed. It was scrutinized, tested, weighed, and examined under magnification. Experts confirmed it. This was no hoax, no clever alteration. It was a genuine U.S. Mint error, likely the result of a mix-up during the testing phase of the new dollar coins introduced in 2000. The implications were massive. The coin represented not just a manufacturing mishap but a tangible, collectible artifact of a pivotal moment in U.S. coinage history. It was a bridge between centuries, forged in copper-plated zinc and sealed by chance. The response was electric. Collectors across the country began hunting through their own change, searching for anything remotely similar. Coin dealers reported a surge in interest in 1999 pennies. Forums lit up with theories, speculation, and wild stories of finds in old jars or bank rolls. For a time, the 1999 penny became a kind of folk legend, a myth in the making fueled by the tantalizing possibility that more might exist. But as the years rolled on, no other confirmed specimens of that exact mule error surfaced, only adding to the mystique of the original. Of course, the story of the 1999 penny does not rest solely on that singular, extraordinary error. Even among standard-issue coins, 1999 represents a significant chapter in the life of the Lincoln cent. It was the final year before the turn of the millennium. The following year would usher in new designs, new technologies, and eventually, new compositions. Coin production itself was becoming more automated, more precise, making errors like the 1999 mule increasingly rare. For collectors, the 1999 penny began to symbolize the end of an era. It was the last breath of the 20th century, stamped into metal and left behind for future generations to rediscover. Condition, as always in numismatics, played a crucial role in value. Most 1999 pennies lived hard lives, passing through hands, dropping to pavement, riding in pockets. But a select few were preserved, whether by chance or intent, and survived in mint state condition. These high-grade examples became the foundation of competitive collections, with grading services assigning them MS66, MS67, or even MS68 designations. And in the ultra-competitive world of top population coins, where collectors vie for the highest graded known examples, the 1999 cent began to shine in a new light. Then came the auctions. In quiet, carpeted halls and sleek online platforms, bids began to climb. First a few thousand. Then tens of thousands. And finally, the hammer dropped on a record-shattering sale, $175,000. It wasn't just a sale, it was a moment. A declaration that even in the smallest denomination, the U.S. Mint had produced something of profound and lasting value. That coin now rests in a private collection, protected in an airtight slab, catalogued, insured, and revered. Its story has been told in numismatic journals, featured in news stories, and whispered among collectors as the ultimate example of hidden treasure. It continues to inspire, to mystify, and to call out to those who search their pocket change with hopeful eyes, because that is the beauty of coins. They are democratic. Accessible. They do not require a pedigree or a bank vault to be owned. They pass through our lives quietly, and yet within them, entire stories live. The 1999 penny, humble in form and spectacular in fortune, is proof that history, mystery, and value can exist in the palm of your hand. In the quiet hum of coin collectors' circles, there are certain coins that command attention not with fanfare, but with whispers. Curious murmurs passed from one seasoned numismatist to another. Among them stands a peculiar enigma, the 1992 5-cent penny. To many, it might sound like a contradiction, even a mistake, a 5-cent penny. But as with many legends in the world of rare coins, the magic lies in the details, the errors, and the mysteries buried beneath the surface. This isn't your everyday Jefferson nickel or standard Lincoln cent. No, this coin stands in a league of its own, born from a momentary lapse, a rare convergence of mechanical error, human oversight, and historical context. And somehow, that accident, so brief, so unlikely, created something worth an astonishing $165,000 today. It all begins with the United States Mint in the early 1990s, a period of high-volume production, evolving technology, and gradual design transitions. The Denver Mint, always busy, was operating at full steam in 1992, churning out hundreds of millions of coins, including both the Lincoln cent and the Jefferson nickel. But something unusual happened during this period, something that would go unnoticed for years, until one curious collector examined an unassuming coin and spotted something truly strange. The coin had the obverse of a Lincoln penny, complete with the unmistakable profile of Abraham Lincoln and the date, 1992, with a tiny D mint mark beneath it. But the weight was off. The dimensions weren't quite right. And under magnification, the alloy composition suggested something even more bizarre. What this collector had stumbled upon was a rare error known as a mule, an accidental pairing of mismatched coin dies. In this case, a Lincoln cent obverse was somehow struck on a planchet meant for a 5-cent piece. It wasn't supposed to happen. The machinery is specifically designed to ensure the correct dies and planchets are paired. Yet here was proof that such a slip had occurred, perhaps only once, and from that fleeting moment of error, a legend was born. To understand how extraordinary this is, one must first appreciate the precision of minting. Every coin produced by the U.S. Mint is part of a carefully regulated process involving thousands of steps and checks. The wrong planchet slipping into the wrong press is so rare that when it does happen, it's often considered a once-in-a-generation event. And when that error involves two different denominations, like a penny die striking a nickel planchet, it borders on miraculous. But the 1992 5-cent penny isn't just a mule. It's an immaculate anomaly. The coin itself reflects the characteristics of both its intended and unintended origins. It has the coppery red hue of a cent, yet the heft of a nickel. Its size and rim are distinct, giving even casual observers a clue that something's amiss. But it's in the fine details, the sharpness of the strike, the clash marks, the spacing of the lettering, where experts truly marvel. This coin didn't just survive its own era, it did so in near-perfect condition. That fact alone adds immense value. In the world of numismatics, rarity is one thing. Condition is another. Combine both, and you have the recipe for a six-figure valuation. Indeed, when this coin was finally authenticated and graded by one of the top certification bodies, it was awarded an astonishing grade, with experts calling it one of the cleanest, most well-preserved mint errors they had ever seen from the modern era. But beyond the metal and the grade, it's the story that drives the obsession. Who first discovered it? Was it passed over in change, lying silently in a drawer for years? Did it nearly get spent, mistaken for a regular coin, destined to vanish again into the swirl of commerce? No one can say for certain. But we do know this: once the coin surfaced, it captured the imagination of the collecting world. Auctions buzzed with speculation. Collectors who had dismissed 1992 as a quiet year suddenly revisited their stashes, hoping lightning might strike twice. And all the while, the legend of the 1992 5-cent penny grew. As we dig deeper into its backstory, we find ourselves reflecting on the strange intersection of history and chance. The early 1990s were not known for numismatic oddities. In fact, the era was relatively stable for coin production, with few headline-making errors. That's what makes this coin all the more captivating. It emerged from a time of consistency, making its presence even more jarring. It challenges assumptions and reminds us that even the most controlled systems can birth a mistake, and that mistake can become a masterpiece. Even now, years after its discovery, the coin continues to make waves. It has been featured in exhibitions, mentioned in numismatic journals, and analyzed in collector forums. Its current value? A staggering $165,000. Not bad for a coin that was never meant to exist. But its worth goes far beyond price. It symbolizes the thrill of discovery, the importance of detail, and the idea that extraordinary things often hide in the most ordinary places. The moment news of the 1992 5-cent penny reached the wider numismatic community, it created a ripple that quickly turned into a wave. Collectors, both seasoned and new, were captivated. Forum discussions lit up overnight. Some were skeptical: how could such an error go unnoticed for years? Others were intrigued, digging through their own collections, hoping to find a twin. The U.S. Mint offered no official explanation, remaining characteristically silent on matters of error coins, which only added to the mystery. The story had everything: a rogue coin, a hidden past, an astronomical value, and just enough ambiguity to keep imaginations running wild. For numismatic experts, the coin became more than just an error. It was a case study, a teaching tool, and a subject of endless fascination. Leading graders and researchers scrutinized the piece under high-powered magnification. Die alignment was studied. Strike pressure was examined. Metallurgical testing confirmed the alloy matched that of a 5-cent planchet, while the die itself was unmistakably from the Lincoln cent series. And yet, all signs pointed to an authentic strike, genuine, untampered, and undeniably rare. It was a dream for any collector, especially those who specialize in mint errors. Even among mules, which are already exceptionally rare, this one stood out. It wasn't just an accidental clash of dies, it was a perfect storm of mistakes that somehow resulted in something beautiful, and it didn't take long before major auction houses took notice. Quiet inquiries were made. Private collectors whispered offers. But when the coin finally did go to public auction, the excitement was palpable. The bidding started high and escalated quickly, with each raise not just about money, but about claiming a piece of modern numismatic history. By the time the hammer dropped, the coin had reached a sale price that stunned even the most seasoned collectors, $165,000. The winning bidder, a prominent private collector with a known love for mint errors, later described it as the crown jewel of his collection. What makes this story even more compelling is the emotional pull it has on everyday people. For every expert chasing the rarest finds, there are thousands of casual collectors and hobbyists hoping to strike gold. The 1992 D5-cent penny reignited that dream. Suddenly, ordinary individuals were pulling out old jars of change, searching through decades-old rolls, looking at every 1992 coin with a magnifying glass and a sense of possibility. And isn't that what makes numismatics so magical? The idea that something extraordinary might be hiding in plain sight, on your dresser, in your change tray, or forgotten in an attic box. Even news outlets and local publications picked up the story, not because it was a financial windfall, but because it was a feel-good reminder of hidden treasures. The coin became a symbol of curiosity, patience, and luck. It reminded people that value isn't always obvious, and sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones no one ever thought to look for. This one coin, just a single strike of metal with an impossible pairing, managed to bridge the worlds of seasoned numismatists, curious newcomers, skeptical experts, and everyday dreamers. It taught lessons, inspired searches, and most of all, it revived the magic that often draws people into collecting in the first place, the thrill of the unknown.